How's it going, everyone? It's Milwaukee coming back at you once again, and today we're going to be discussing Star Wars The High Republic Adventures, Issue 1, featuring the prologue called The Gaze Electric, written by Daniel Jose Older and drawn by Nick Brokenshire. In Issue 1, also written by Daniel Jose Older, illustrated by Harvey Tolibao. The issue starts off with a prologue, where Marchion Ro allows a select group of Nihil aboard his ship, the Gaze Electric, to go on a journey to get incredible powers to shatter the Republic and the Jedi. And in issue 1, we see both the Nihil and the Jedi forces arrive on the planet Trimant 4 as a hyperspace emergence rages. One group is determined to help evacuate and save lives, the other group, not so much. From this point forward, I'll be delving into the spoilers for the issue, so if you just want to score, skip to the end. So the Jedi arrive on Trimant 4, and they're trying to, save the populace, while the Nihil are also arriving on Trimant 4, and they're trying to kidnap the orphanage leader, because the orphanage leader apparently knows where a relic is that Marchion Ro needs to help defeat the Jedi, right? So both forces are there, they're doing their own thing, and Jedi Padawan Lula Taliosa notices that this one girl, Zeen Marala, has the ability to use the Force, and Zeen ends up saving the Jedi right when they're about to get crushed by a piece of debris. But, Zeen's only friend, named Crix, who she grew up with in this orphanage, by the way, teaches these young people to reject the Force and, don't trust the Force and not use the Force because the Force is apparently bad, right? So Crick sees this and he starts freaking out on his lifelong friend Zeen, and it ends up with Crix aligning with the Nihil, while Zeen ends up aligning, of course, with the Jedi. One positive I can say about this issue is there's good setup of the main characters. First main character is a character named Lula Taliosa, who wants to be the best Jedi ever, and the other main character set up here is named Zeen Marala, and she's a secret Force user who grew up in an orphanage on the planet Trimant 4. Another positive moment, I would say, in the book is when the young Jedi Padawans who travel to the planet Trimant 4 aboard the Starhopper, which is a small shuttle, they go up to the Nihil because they don't recognize them for who they are and ask to borrow their much larger spider ship, which is pretty funny. Daniel Jose Older, pretty good with the comedy. As far as some negatives for the issue, I'll say the art is too busy. There's a real lack of depth. Everything seems to be stacked on top of each other. And you could go cross-eyed trying to make it out, like looking at it for too long. Just a little busy. But not bad, though. Also, this is something that I touched on in my Light of the Jedi review. How could one tiny ship of Jedi help an entire planet evacuate, right? It just doesn't really make sense. I guess the whole angle they're going for is that Jedi are going to land on the planet and try to divert debris from smashing into the continents. But if it smashes into the ocean, it's going to cause the same effect, right? Catastrophic damage. It's just always been like a ridiculous concept that the Jedi are going to be able to save these planets from these big chunks of ship, crashing down into them. But I guess you just got to ignore it or whatever, because what else can you do? They end up saving the day when you know it. No one dies. At least, no main characters. Also, I got to point out that, Daniel Jose Older, he has a tendency to use a lot of, today's speak in his writing that I've noticed in the Star Wars stuff that I read this far. He has characters saying, hold up, and we got this, or you got this, or, we got you. It's like, characters of Star Wars, they don't talk like that. Could you imagine if Obi-Wan rolled up on Luke and was like, no worries, Luke? It just wouldn't happen, right? But that's kind of a problem with Disney Star Wars. They use a lot of modern language when we prefer it be timeless stuff, But what are you going to do? So with all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and give Star Wars The High Republic Adventures Issue 1 a 3 out of 5. Pretty good setup. even if the premise is a little tired. But it is the beginning of the High Republic Initiative, so they got to be dealing with the emergencies. It's understandable. Nice to see Marchion Ro in the book. We'll see what role he plays going further. Until next time, I'll see you there.